Hi, BC family. Welcome to your midweek devotion. This week, I want to talk to you guys about building up or tearing down. And so I'm going to start with a verse that I actually was going over with my students this last week. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:11. It says, "Therefore, encourage one another and build up one another just as you are doing." So I asked one of my students, I said, what does that look like to build one another up? And they all came up with different things. But one student in particular said, it's like Jenga. That visual really stuck in my head, that it's like Jenga. You're either adding to the strength of someone's foundation or you're taking it away and causing them to be unstable and ultimately lead to their fall, right? So Acts 6:11 through 12 says, "So they secretly instigated and instructed men to say, 'We have heard this man speak, using slanderous and abusive and blasphemous language against Moses and God.' They incited the people as well as the elders and scribes." That verse really popped out to me when I was doing my Bible reading this week because it just goes to show how easy it is to stir up strife and anger. So the question becomes, are you the ones who are igniting or diffusing the situations that we run into on a daily basis? When a coworker comes at you, are you diffusing or igniting? Are you fueling the gossip or are you snuffing it out? By your words and actions, you're either adding to the problem or you're turning it around. I mean, that's some big weight right there. James 3:16 says, "For wherever there is jealousy, envy, and contentions, rivalry, and selfish ambition, there will also be confusion, unrest, disharmony, rebellion, and all sorts of evil and vile practices." So for all the gossip, complaining, bad mouthing that we do, there is a root to it. And James just told us the root of these things are envy, rivalry, selfish ambition. When you realize that you are actually a part of the problem, you then have to ask yourself why. What's the root? Why are you contributing to this, right? Where is the root of it? I love the very next verse, James 3:17. It says, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, reasonable, full of mercy and good fruits, unwavering, without hypocrisy." Wow, I like that. So when you're seeking and putting God first, and He is so full in you that it's what comes out of you, right? Then you are peaceable in hard situations, gentle, reasonable. You think through things with empathy, thinking about the other person, right? Full of mercy. You don't take offense. You're quick to forgive. You are unwavering and without hypocrisy. I love that word, hypocrisy. It means the practice of claiming, so you're claiming this, to have normal standards or beliefs. I love that they say the practice of, that's the actual definition. People practice being good church people. People practice, the right words to say, how to say it. My own daughter, she gets really good at knowing what to say in front of this person versus that person, right? It's a practice. You practice the right words to say, how to act. But their own behavior does not match. That's hypocrisy. So are you one way on Sunday and a whole different person at home or work? So we have the power to build up or tear down, right? We have the power, just like that Jenga visual, to build a strong foundation or start to pull out so that it becomes unstable and wobbly. Proverbs 14:1 says, "Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish one tears it down with her own hands." This verse is telling us that we have choices. We choose to build or take away. We choose to add a Jenga block to someone's tower or our own, or we choose to pull one away. It's being an active participant in their downfall. When you pull out a block, you are actively participating in the downfall of that person. I mean, when you really consider it that way, that's a big visual. When someone quits, gets fired, divorces, I mean, the list can go on. The question becomes, did I have a hand in their downfall? Did I add to the problem? Did I ignite the issues? Or did I try to diffuse? Did I help with God's wisdom and peace? What part did I contribute to what's happened in this person's life, right? What about in our own lives? Are we building a strong foundation or creating holes and gaps so that we become unstable? What words are you saying about yourself, your children, your husband, your health, your mental ability, your life? What kingdom are you building? One of fear and worry, or freedom, restoration, and joy? So Amy said this a few Sundays back. She said, if we have time to worry, we have time to pray. And so that spoke to me as in, we need to be aware of what we are speaking. Ephesians 4:29 says, let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth. And it's pretty blatant. But only such a word as is good for edification according to the need of the moment, so that it will give grace to those who hear it. I really love this verse. Matthew 7:12 says, do unto others what you would have them do unto you, right? That's the golden rule. We teach our children that, but then we become adults and we don't think twice about the words that are coming out of our mouth. Why? Well, they're justified, at least in our minds, right? But would they give grace to anyone who heard it? That's the question. So we need to be aware of the words that we are speaking. It's like buying clothes. You don't just run into a store and blindly grab a shirt, go up to the counter, pay for it, and walk out. No, you take time and effort to buy clothes. You try them on, you think about it. Maybe you don't have time to try it on, but you still go through, you make sure you have the right size, you hold it up to yourself, right? You put thought and process and effort into buying it. So we need to take time to choose wisely the words that we speak out of our mouth, because you are going to wear those words. Just like you wear your clothes, you're going to wear your words. We're going to be the product of what we say. What you say is going to affect you in your life. You're either adding to your Jenga tower, you're building up your life and your foundation, or you're taking away from it. Again, causing those holes and gaps and creating that shaky, wobbly foundation. So we need to weigh our words. Think about, what are we building and the grace that we are extending? So are you bringing out the good in others and the good in yourself? Or are you, I like looking at it this way, are you the buoy that saves others that are lost and trying just to stay afloat? Or are you the anchor that takes them down? It's also a really good visual. In your own life, are you speaking what you want or what you see? Because there's a difference right there too. Are you speaking what you want? My husband is a godly man. My husband loves me. He's a good father, right? My kids love God. They're seeking God. They're on the right path. You know, my finances, I'm blessed, abundantly above. God meets all of my needs. My job is peaceable. My atmosphere is great. I have great coworkers. And maybe what you're speaking out isn't current, right? Maybe you're speaking out things that you're like, this seems ridiculous because it's not my reality, but you're speaking out the job that is to come, what could be coming, your future, what you want, right? My mental health is strong. I remember all things. I have peace and not stress. Are you speaking that, or are you speaking what you see? Oh, I can't remember anything. I'm so anxious. I'm so stressed out. My husband this, my kids this, my job this, my friends this. I mean, you can add a whole nother layer to this and say, are you speaking what you know people want to hear on Sundays, and then hearing a different set of words during the week as well? I mean, there's a lot of thought that goes into our words. And right now, if you're listening to this, you're thinking, oh, I'm either this person or this person. Or you're thinking, oh, I've said that a lot, right? It's that thought process of weighing your words. So are you speaking what you want or what you see? The promise or the problem? Are you building up or tearing down? Because when you speak the promise, here's what happens. You begin to pull the good. You begin to see the good and pull out the good, and you can completely begin to change your atmosphere and your life, because God said that in his word. He said that death and life are in the power of the tongue. We have so much power in the words that we speak, and you can create a life that you want with the words that you speak. So I want to talk really quick about Peter. Peter walked with Jesus, and Peter special. So Peter was truly battled his flesh. Like, he's probably one of the most relatable. He was impatient at times and angry and made poor decisions. And I heard that his name, Simon Peter, actually means pebble. And I'm sure at times he felt like he was a tiny pebble or a pain, right? But Jesus told him in Matthew, he told him he was a rock. Despite the mistakes and the struggles that Peter had as a human on this earth, Jesus called the rock out of him, right? So let's look at that in Matthew. And Jesus said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Barjona, because flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. I also say to you that you are Peter, a large piece of rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overpower it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." I like that because he spoke to the potential of what Peter was. He was speaking to Peter's potential, not how Peter was handling stuff in the moment, right? We have to speak to each other's potential, to our potential, and build our lives on a solid foundation, on a rock, on that Jenga tower. And as we build others up, as we weigh our words and what we say about ourselves or others or the situation, we're calling out that Peter in us. We're calling out the rock in others. And we're helping them create and stand strong in a firm foundation. So this week, I want to encourage you to be aware of the words that you speak. Take the time to choose your words wisely. Pause before you just let them go. And if you notice yourself speaking words that take away, that don't bring grace to everyone who hears it, then you need to look at what are you putting in you. Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So really, when you are weighing your words, you're weighing what is in you. For some of us, it may mean less social media, less reels, less YouTube or TV, maybe even different friends. And some of that may seem drastic to some of you, but your words are shaping your future. It's building your foundation. It's creating the world around you. So how important is that to you? So I read you earlier, Ephesians 3:29, and I'm going to end this Devo with the full gravity and weight of Ephesians 3:29 through 31. And I want you to think about it this week. Let it be your guide. And remember, life is all about growth and progress. You won't get it right every time, but recognize it and ask God's grace and forgiveness and move forward, building with your words rather than taking away. So here's those verses for you to meditate on. Let no foul or polluting language, nor evil word, nor unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth, but only such speech as is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others. I love that. Is it benefiting someone's spiritual progress? As is fitting to the need or the occasion, that it may be a blessing and give grace, God's favor to all who hear it, all. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God. Do not offend or vex or sadden him, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and indignation and wrath and bad temper and resentment and anger and quarreling and slander be banished from you with all malice. Get rid of it, right? And become useful and helpful and kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another readily and freely, as God in Christ forgave you. So this week, weigh your words and decide, are you building someone's foundation or are you taking away from it? Have a great week. Bye.